Dear Jack, we have 3 different programs that run the gamut of diagnosis through survivorship. We have a wish granting program for 18 to 39-year-olds who are in active treatment for cancer. We open applications every quarter. We bring in a new group of people. They are in the program for 6 months. They get a budget of around $1,500 to wish for something that's going to bring them joy. There's
Rob Ruckus,
Nick Collins,
Kate Clover,
Keith Semple,
Isaiah Mitchell,
Billy Harvey,
Tim Howard. Check it out, Almost Famous Magazine.
Hey everyone, welcome back to The Hang right here on Almost Famous Magazine. I'm your host, Scott Saldinger. Thank you for hanging with us, getting to know musicians, learning their stories, and knowing them well beyond their music. Today's going to be extra special though, because it's music related adjacent. So we're gonna tease you a little bit there. But we appreciate everyone who comes and joins us. Please, if you haven't already, hit subscribe, follow the podcast. Ring the bell. You know what to do. You've done it on other channels. Please do it for ours. Also, if you've been here before, you're coming back for a reason. Tell your friends. It helps everybody. Plus, if you're sick and tired of seeing this face on all your podcasts, or maybe you just don't have time to get in front of a video, I get it. We're available on anywhere you listen to your podcasts: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more. As many of you know, here at The Hang, we're extremely partial to organizations, say that 3 times fast, supporting the music-loving community. We've had guests from Punk Rock Gives Back, Punk Rock Saves Lives, and today on The Hang, we're joined by Susan Wandishin. She's the Senior Director of Operations at the Dear Jack Foundation. I'm proudly wearing my Dear Jack sweatshirt today, and there's a story why I have that. We may get in that as well. She's helped lead impactful programming that supports adolescents and young adults diagnosed with cancer and their families. She's got a background as an educator and a seasoned nonprofit leader. She brings heart strategy and community-centered leadership to building joyful experiences and meaningful connections for young adults facing one of life's toughest journeys. I've known her a while. I've worn this shirt before. I'm so honored. Susan, thank you for joining me.
Scott, thank you for having me. Always an honor to just be your friend, but an even bigger honor to be here and to chat with you about Dear Jack, one of my favorite things to talk about.
It's one of mine too. It really is. I tell people about it all the time. And like I said, I've worn this before on the podcast. I think it's important we get the word out. Let's take a step back. We've known each other a long time. We met through what used to be the U.S. version of the Love, Hope, Strength Foundation. That has evolved in a couple of different ways. A number of us have gone separate ways and then come back through just knowing each other and our love for supporting the community. How did you first get involved in making the choice to support communities with your efforts to raise funds, awareness, and bring things into the lives of other people?
Oh, that's a great question. That goes way back. I've been around the block many times. My college degree is in special education. I taught high school students with disabilities for numerous years, became a stay-at-home mom, raised my children. When they got to the age where they were driving, it was time for me to get back into it and to do something again that gave me some purpose. So as my husband says, he made a whole lot of money being a consultant so I could make karma points for the two of us. So I started back to work. My kids were heavily involved in music at the time. They were students at School of Rock in Denver. And so we knew a lot of music-based organizations. And so Love, Hope, Strength had been around a lot of School of Rock events. And so I knew about them and started working with them to make a difference in the cancer community. I don't know of a single person that's my age that hasn't been touched in some way by cancer. It is sneaky, it is insidious, and it is unforgiving. And so for me to be able to go to work with an organization that was affecting change in that community was really powerful and important. So I was at Love, Hope, Strength for a few years and then switched to the Dear Jack Foundation. The two organizations worked very much in tandem for a long time. So it was a delightful transition to move to Dear Jack and support their programs.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, It's a shame we don't have Love, Hope, Strength here in the States anymore, but some amazing things that come out of it. You going to Dear Jack, as well as what Rob's doing with Punk Rock Saves Lives. Why don't you tell everybody what Dear Jack is all about and why it exists?
I would love to. So the Dear Jack Foundation is a nonprofit that was specifically started to support the adolescent and young adult cancer population. So every 6 minutes, someone between the ages of 15 and 39 is diagnosed with cancer in the United States. It's over 89,000 young adults every year. There are more than 600,000 young adult cancer survivors in the United States. And if you take a minute and you think about all the things happening in your life between the ages of 15 and 39, it's graduations, it's college, post-high school education, training, it's relationships, it's even just moving out of your parents' house for the first time. And for our program participants, all of that takes a huge left turn that they did not see coming. And through no fault of their own, their life gets really waylaid. And even when they go into survivorship, a lot of times their care teams they're there for the medical piece of it. So they do amazing things to treat them and to get them into remission. But then they ring a bell at a cancer center and they're pretty much left on their own and expected to kind of go back to like real life. And they don't know what that is anymore. So we were actually founded by an amazing musician and human and philanthropist named Andrew McMahon. He is the front man for the bands Jack's Mannequin and Something Corporate and Andrew McMahon in the Wilderness. But when he was 23, he was about to embark on a nationwide tour with a new album called Everything in Transit. Some of you may have heard of it. It's pretty awesome. But he was having some persistent health issues, and he went to the doctor and was unfortunately diagnosed with leukemia. He got a stem cell transplant from his sister. He is doing amazingly well. He actually sold out Red Rocks last summer and still tours and writes and does all sorts of amazing creative things. But he really, the thing that he has said that always resonates with me as to why he started Dear Jack is that his body healed faster than his head and his heart could. And I think that that's a really strong testament to the experience of young adults when they are faced with a cancer diagnosis.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's hard enough. It's hard enough being an adult who gets a diagnosis like that when you've got your life established. But when you're trying to get life off the ground, you suddenly have this. You suddenly get thrown a boat anchor, right, and it weighs you down. And having the support you need around you is as important, if not more, than the medical treatment you get, right? Because the medical treatment will get you there, but it's your village that keeps you going. Right?
1,000%.
Let's talk a little bit about, we've you and I have had this conversation in the past, but I think it's important that you've got Make-A-Wish, right? And for young adults to phase out of that, there was nowhere for them to really go. So how does Dear Jack fill that gap?
So at Dear Jack, we have 3 different programs that run the gamut of diagnosis through survivorship. We have a wish granting program for 18 to 39-year-olds who are in active treatment for cancer. We open applications every quarter. We bring in a new group of people. They are in the program for 6 months. They get a budget of around $1,500 to wish for something that's going to bring them joy. There's really no script to it, which is one of my favorite parts about it. There's no drop-down box for what they can pick, which is what makes it super complicated from an execution standpoint. But what makes it so amazing is that their wishes are as unique as they are. We buy a lot of computers. We plan a lot of trips. But we also do random things. We just had somebody a couple of days ago who was able to go behind the scenes for Critical Role, which is a group of YouTubers that have over like 2.5 million subscribers. So she was able to do that. We had somebody recently that got to go on the field with the Denver Broncos cheerleaders, just all sorts of things. It was the first time I've had a wish that was, I don't care about the football team. I just want to meet the cheerleaders. It was really amazing. And the cheerleaders were so excited that someone wished for a day with them. The idea in that 6 months, though, is that we wrap our arms around them holistically. So they get their wish, but we have a social worker on staff who checks on them at least once a month, sometimes more often than that. We have other programs we fold them into. And then we also have a volunteer activation where volunteers can write them notes of support and encouragement that we send to that. We collate and then send to them. So everybody that's in that program gets somewhere around 80 to 100 different letters that are personalized to them. They don't just say, "Dear friend," they say, "Dear Emily, I saw that you met the Broncos. That's so cool." But it's that personal connection. And one of the biggest mental health concerns for young adults with a cancer diagnosis is the feeling of isolation. I have seen young adults who are 20 years old and being treated at a pediatric hospital, and they have princesses on the wall of their hospital room, or they sit in a waiting room with people who are 30 to 40 years older than them, who are very well intentioned, but will ask them if they're there to pick up their mom. It's just such a disconnect. So that isolation is really intense. So our letter writing program really supports that. 98% of our Life List participants to date have said that those letters have had a positive impact on their mental health, which is a really important piece. We also have a virtual community. It has two parts. We do 2 virtual get-togethers every single month. We bring in expert guest speakers on anything they want to talk about. Our next couple of calls are on meal prep with a nutritionist, and then on how to budget and basically work with your medical bills. But then we also have a section of our website that's password protected for young adults only. It has information on upcoming calls, groups on social media just for young adults that they can join. But then we take every one of those calls and we take the notes in the slide deck and we build them into a categorized resource database. So at any point in time, they can find information from 2 years ago on sexual health or on parenting kind of things. And then our last program is called Breathe Now. And these are retreats for survivors who are at least around a year out of active treatment. We do about 4 days of yoga meditation, but we have a curriculum that we crafted with social workers and therapists to really guide these young adults through the trauma that they've experienced and to get them into a balanced place going into survivorship.
That's a lot going on. And I know but I know that it's not just you fulfilling all that. Let's talk about how people can get involved. Yes. Right? Yes. You have a lot of opportunities for that, and it does take an army to make a lot of this stuff happen.
1,000%. So 2 different ways. One, if anyone is interested in supporting our program participants by writing letters, Letters with Love is an activation that we do every single quarter. I always say it is the more the merrier activation. My goal is to bump our average letter per participant up to 100 letters per participant. So we always love people doing that. It's a really easy activation because you just need pen and paper. You can do it from wherever you're at, write your letters and send them in to us. The other thing that we have, and I will get you this link, Scott, is we have just a general get involved form. And what we do with that is we're looking for people that have things or skills or information that might be able to support us. Do you have a vacation rental that you would love to donate and have the tax deduction for a week that someone could use that for their wish? Do you have airline miles you could send our way? Do you have an accounting background? Any of these things, we're really trying to our Andrew McMahon has such an incredible fan base, and we have used his fan base. We've gotten their support year after year through a peer-to-peer fundraising campaign. But there are people that's not their jam. They don't like to fundraise. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to reach out to a lot of those people or people that haven't met us before, and see what skills do you have, because everybody has something that they can give.
Absolutely. Let's go back kind of piece by piece a little bit, because I think for the letter writing piece, people should know that if you're watching this and you need a community project and you have a group of people, you can reach out and do this for your community group project. It doesn't have to just be you. You could make an event out of writing the letters, can't you?
Absolutely. So a lot of corporations will do it as a team building event, and it's great because you can do it if your team is hybrid, if your team is all sitting in the same place. The biggest one I did is I think it was a nationwide company that had offices all over, and they zoomed me in to 6 different locations that had about 50 people at each location one time. It was an absolute blast. So for those, I zoom in, I talk for 10-ish minutes and just give a little background about Dear Jack. I really dive into like, this is what makes a good letter, because there are definitely some do's and don'ts for how to write a letter to someone in the life situation our participants are currently in. But once we do that, I will dip and they can hang out and write letters, and then they just mail them into us. We have a lot of youth organizations that will volunteer. The great thing about letters is you can do it if you're 3, you can draw a picture. If you're 90, you can write letters. We had somebody do them with her great aunt one time because she visited her all the time. And she was like, it's a lot of hours trying to come up with something to do. Every letter this woman wrote, she talked about her walker. It was amazing. They were hilarious. Her walker, somebody assembled it wrong, and so she just couldn't stop talking about it. And every letter she wrote to our 20-year-olds said something about her walker. So it's just an awesome way to give a little bit of yourself and share a little bit of yourself to somebody that's feeling incredibly isolated.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you work in corporate America and your business supports volunteerism, there's one. If you're on a university campus or even on a high school campus and you need a community project, bring this to your advisor's attention because you can participate. It's easy. Also, just because Susan knows I'm not a big fan of the cold, if you're looking for a midwinter project, this is done indoors, which I prefer. So that's a great way to participate. Also, if you can find the time to help fundraise for Dear Jack, they are like so many organizations. Let's be honest, there's a finite amount of money to go around, and we live in financially challenging times for many. Your efforts to make an ask can make a huge difference for someone who's on the receiving end of one of their wishes. How can people put together little fundraising efforts of their own to get involved?
So we have our annual fundraising campaign. I can't talk. Our annual fundraising campaign usually goes from about midsummer through to November. People form teams that will fundraise together in many different ways. They will ask local stores to have a roundup campaign. They will make crafts and go to craft fairs and sell them. There's so many different ways to get involved, and it's a fun thing to do as a team. All of that information is on our website under the Get Involved tab. Though that fundraising season ends in the culmination of 11/11, which we do every year on 11/11, where Andrew McMahon has a concert, and we really just celebrate what a great year it's been.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, everybody, once you get involved with Dear Jack, you have volunteers who keep coming back and back. We've had many conversations of a number of them. They just get really passionate about, because this is something you can do again and again and again without a ton of heavy lifting.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So what are some of the most unique requests that you've seen come in that you thought maybe you could never pull it off, but yet Dear Jack was able to make a dream come true?
Oh my gosh. We just recently, I'm gonna touch ours in a second so we can talk about it. But we just recently, somebody wished to meet the New Orleans Saints, and when it comes to pro sports, football is the toughest one because they have such a short season.
Right.
But and so I typically make zero promises when wishes like that come in. But the Saints invited him to come not only to a game, but he went to the walkthrough the day before and got down on the field. He met his favorite players. He was a part of the walkthrough, and the Saints actually posted it on their social media, which was, for a smaller organization, that was super exciting for us. Critical Role was a big one that got us pretty far. Oh, somebody recently asked to meet Lainey Wilson. So normally we get a lot of wishes to meet Beyonce or meet Taylor Swift, and I always have to answer those with a no, because I do not have the capacity to do that. But somebody wanted to meet Lainey Wilson, who is just lighting it up on the country charts. And we happened to have somebody on our board who had a connection through where he works. And it was just amazing. She got to meet her. She got to take pictures with her. She got to go backstage. It was just, the music wishes are always really impactful because we do, fortunately, through our founder, Andrew, we get some connections there and we can make some really cool things happening. And I think it's really cool for the artists too, to be able to, not only are you doing something that not only are you seeing a fan and giving back to a fan, but it's somebody who's in a space that really needs you, and your music has been so impactful for them and has resonated so much through them and really gotten them through some hard times. So that's amazing. But hands down, Scott, one of the biggest wishes that I never thought was going to happen. Several years ago, we had a delightful young man who actually wished to create a video game to help kids who were going through cancer treatment. I had no idea not a gamer, not a programmer. I know nothing about tech. So I happened to reach out to my friend, you, and say, hey, this kid went to RIT, and I know you guys know way more about this stuff than me. Do you think you could help? And it became, I think, one of the most epic wishes that we've actually pulled off. The amount of people that rallied to support this and create, what's it called? A jam? Is that what you call it? See, I don't even know.
Yeah. Game jam, yeah.
Thank you. A game jam. We did an entire weekend with so many RIT students, so much staff, and they blew my mind in all the best ways that what these young adults pulled together in honor of Zach was just phenomenal. I mean, the quality of their work was beautiful. The thoughtfulness that they put into not just the programming and the tech aspects of what they did, but the mental health support piece of it, it was amazing.
Well, they're not. We've had many episodes where our guests will tell an emotional story, but you knew exactly where to go to get me a little verklempt. It was an incredible experience, and I was fortunate to get the phone call. We were up against a lot of odds. We had a very short window of time to do it, and to everyone's credit involved, it was just a spectacular 3-day event that kind of went against the grain of what you usually get asked for, right?
Yeah.
But shows that you can do anything. Now, the reality is, if you're going to make a wish, of course, try and shoot for the stars, but be reasonable. But be reasonable, because you never know who Susan may know. She just has to pick up the phone, and she will pick up the phone for you. So that was an incredible weekend that I still, we still talk about to this day. And I think it's just a testament to seeing what can be done when a community comes together to help someone who has a wish. And I think that's what Dear Jack is really all about. It was special. There were definitely a lot more tears that weekend, but they were all tears of joy.
Yes.
What's coming up for Dear Jack in 2026? Anything different out of the ordinary going on that people
do we have in 2026?
Could be on the radar?
So we're doing a special retreat. We're super excited. We are working with a theater in Boulder, Colorado called Modus Theater to do a storytelling retreat. So we are going to have 6 young adults who will apply for the program. And then they will work with Modus. We'll do a retreat, like a kickoff retreat, and fly them all out to be together. And they'll work with Modus for around 8 weeks on monologues and how to craft their story. And I'm really excited to give them a platform, not just to process individually what they've been through, but to share with the world what this experience is like, the good, the bad, the ugly, the in between. So that will be exciting. It should culminate in our November events, which may or may not be somewhere we've been before and be super exciting. I'm not at liberty to say yet, but I'm very excited about the location this year. And we're planning a lot of fun things around that. Next month we will be on the Andrew McMahon Holiday from Real cruise. So if you are free and looking for a cruise, it hasn't quite sold out. It's almost sold out, but that's happening at the end of next month. And Dear Jack will be tabling every day on the pool deck, so you'll have to come say hi. All sorts of good things.
That's a rough life you got there.
It's a tough gig, man.
I know that's a tough gig.
Yes.
Look, as I tend to say at the very end of every episode, is that we have to do a better job loving ourselves and giving ourselves grace, and then doing it for others. And this is a great way that you can feel good about helping those who really need the help. So I encourage everybody watching, get involved. All right. It doesn't take a lot, and that little bit from everybody adds up, especially if you do a group fundraiser. So it's not all on your shoulders, and make things happen, because the emotional reward you get, it outweighs any of the effort you put into it. It's a great organization. I'm thrilled that you continue to thrive, and all the links will be down below. You should check out their social media, and just, we all know someone at this point, even younger people these days know someone who's had a negative medical impact from cancer. So we have to be there to support each other. No one gets through anything alone. So, everything will be below, and, we may do this again and find out, what are you waiting for? Right. So if you got into 2026 and had a resolution to do something good for humanity, and you're like, well, I went to the gym for a week and a half, and then I didn't do that anymore, and then I changed my eating habits, whatever. This is the habit that you should have for 2026. And that is giving your time, giving your effort and energy to those who could really use it, and I would be thoroughly appreciative. So Susan, this has been great catching up. I miss you. So we'll have to get together sometime soon. And for everyone watching, everything you need to know is going to be down below. Thank you for hanging with us. And please reach out to Dear Jack. Do what you can to support them. And you know what? You never know what the payoff's going to be. So that's always a surprise, and it feels good. So Susan, thanks so much. And
thank you, Scott.
I look forward to seeing you again soon. And everybody, please come back for more, and, go and do good in the world.